Justin James Watt. Like, you didn't see 2012 to 15. Like, that was the best stretch of D-line play I ever seen.
25 lighters on the dresser, bad bitch Vanessa, yes or no, key just pressing, my lane is reckless, or strong, they can feel the presence, wheel and deal, they can feel the pressure, fashion over bay like the dresser, got some issues, I wouldn't press it, y'all crash dummy shit, don't impress it.
When he ran out on the field with the flag, that first home, I never experienced, like, a couple years before that, I popped an eardrum. On that day, I popped an eardrum. It was so electric in that building when JJ ran on the field with that flag. I never experienced any. The only thing I experienced like that was when Canelo fought in Minute Maid, and all them drunk ass Mexicans cheered for him. But JJ Watt, energy, my favorite Texan of all time.
I mean, you look at Harvey, how devastating it was. I mean, it goes down as one of the worst from hurricane perspectives, and I mean, he stood up and helped out the city drastically. Didn't have to. He could have been like any other superstar here. I mean, donated and everything else, but he stood up, did his stuff, and he was like, no, this is my home. Like, and we always give credit to, I mean, people that have played here, to people like Lance, H-Town until I die and everything. But this guy is like the epitome of like Houston. Like,
he is what we are. Like, he's just good-natured. He talks to everybody. He's from Wisconsin or whatever, but he's got the South in him. Like, that's in him. And what people, I never heard anybody say this, but I always thought this. I'm so grateful because they say, oh, he's fake. He just does it for the camera. He does that. No, LeBron does that. JJ Watt may have did certain things for the camera, but not most of the time. You know how much more mad we would be if JJ Watt's personality was like a big doofus like Gronk? Like, no, we don't want that. No, we had a good hometown boy who represented us well. He was good for TV. He was good for the league. He kept us relevant. If anybody has something bad to say about JJ Watt, you're just a hater.
Yeah, I mean, you saw him everywhere and it wasn't, he didn't even do just big commercials. He would look, I mean, of course, HEB, he would look out for some of the smaller mom and pops doing commercials for them. Like, you got to notice his family in a lot of his commercials and stuff, and he was just very humble. And the way he carried himself is, you knew that when you hear about athletes and you're like, okay, that's somebody that I would want my kids to look up to as an athlete that carries themselves. I mean, even his work pedigree, like you give work pedigree to, like, of course, legends like Kobe and other people like that. This guy, when you would see him on like Hard Knocks and everything, his regimen to how he would, articulate his body and everything else for you as a fan was just, you don't find that in everybody, in all athletes. Like, he knew
he did so much of that, it gave people a reason to hate on him. And that's the only knock on him. But it's like, you can't say that. I can't say that personally because, like, over the past 3 years, everybody's like, Aaron Donald, the best D lineman we may have ever seen, and blah, blah, blah. Who's done this? And I was like, Justin James Watt. Like, you didn't see 2012 to 15. Like, that was the best stretch of D-line play I ever seen. So, like, no knock on Donald. He's that great. But Watt did it too. He just didn't really give you a reason to hate on him. So now you hate on him. I mean, the dude is the only player ever to have 220 sack seasons. I dare somebody to say that he doesn't have a top 10 defensive player in history resume, because the dude does. Straight up.
No. And I was watching ESPN, they were talking about Watt, and they said he's not even in the top 15. And I'm like, this is a guy that I give it to you for 10 seasons with the Texans. He was hurt a few times, this and that. But what he did when he was out there, the disruptions of the ball draw, batting of the balls and everything else, like, you had 2-3 people coming at him, he'd still break through. Like,
he popularized that back in the league.
Yeah.
My thing is you know what? If people say he's not top 15 in the league, I will listen to that entertainment, because to some degree, winning does matter. And he never won nothing. He never even got close. But if you're talking strictly Hall of Fame, individual statistics, his win rates, his sacks, his pressures, his knockdowns, all that, I mean, he stands up against the greatest to ever put a helmet on. And in my opinion, aside from Aaron Donald, he's the only other defensive player in this millennium that I can think of other that I can say you can determine how this game goes on the defensive side of the ball. There's a lot of guys who are pesty, the Reeveses, the Lewises, and those guys, but JJ could straight up wreck a game. And I've seen him do it.
I mean, there was times where literally the Texans would be like, we need the ball. And he'd be like, I got you. And he'd go out there, disrupt it, and get a fumble, get a touchdown. I mean, dude was getting interceptions and running touchdowns in
playoff games.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at his resume with just the Texans and what he did, like you said, he elevated this team to where nobody cared if we had a quarterback. We had a revolving door quarterback because we had JJ. All eyes were on JJ. Everybody knew you come to Houston, it's JJ's team. And I think for me and you, I know we talked about it, is he pretty much solidified himself as the top Texan in history for this organization.
He was his selflessness also goes untalked about. And like you have a D coordinator, not to shit on him, but like Wade Phillips comes in, changes everything. You go to a 3-4 technique, a 3-4 alignment. JJ Watt goes over to like a 3 technique, and he's constantly taking on double teams, and players like Whitney Merciless shine off of that. It's like, oh, JJ's taking the tackle and the guard. I'm gonna get around. JJ never batted an eye. He never said a word. He just let the dude do his deal. And we were better for it. So he was, not only was he that great on his own, he was like selfless. He was the best teammate.
Yeah. And I think like even the way he carried himself with media, like you hear a lot of athletes that don't like talking to media, but I mean, you've shared it before, the video of him talking about, this is our job. Like he understands that us as fans, we pay to watch them play. So they have to give us a great product out there. And I think a lot of us, I mean, I don't want to say we took it for granted, but it feels like 10 years was very fast.
It was.
And I mean, we got to witness arguably one of the best to do it in our uniform. And I mean, you have to, I feel, put him up there with, Akeem Olajuwon's going to always be a legend for the Rockets as the GOAT. I feel JJ's now at that.
I feel like because he never won, he's, like there's tiers to what we have in Houston sports. Like I have Altuve and Olajuwon up here.
Yeah.
And right beneath that, I got JJ Watt, Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell, James Harden, those guys that like y'all carried us. Y'all are always us, but y'all are not God mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Earl Campbell and
like Andre Johnson, he was always, I think, in that tier. And then when JJ's like, I'm retiring now, it's like, all right, I'm gonna give you a little of the nod, because I mean, just like we said, the dynamic he had on this team, on this franchise, I mean, nothing ever was bad said. Like even when we lose, like, oh, JJ had like 5 sacks, and it's like, cool.
That's the thing, bro. You just hit the nail on the head. Like the Texans are in such bad shape right now, and it's just not even really enjoyable to watch them. And we're constantly looking forward. That all we do is take for granted was in our past. Like we forgot how much fun that was to watch. Like whether we were foolish to think it or not, like guys like JJ Watt on those teams gave us hope that we could possibly, you know what I mean? So I'll always remember that. I look forward to the day when we're 80 years old and we were like, fuck yeah, we seen JJ Watt. You know what I mean? So
I look forward to having, my kids, grandkids ask me like, how was it to watch him? And it's like, you got to witness greatness, live. Or I mean, like you said, even the Harvey thing is going to always be what I think just solidified him for a lot of people here. But his play on the field, I think, is what you should look at, especially for a guy that gave it. I mean, injury after injury, came back ready to go. I mean, dude was catching touchdowns at times.
Dude, I was at that Tennessee Titans game when he decided to play tight end and catch a touchdown. It was my birthday. I got so fucked up. Thank you, JJ Watt, for giving me a reason to drink in the middle of the day. And I had a fight on the Metro Rail. So thank you, JJ.
Thank you, JJ, for the greatness. Yeah, I just, man, like, it's hard.
It's funny. You know what I'm thinking the whole time is like, because you and I, we talk about the upcoming NFL draft and how it relates to the Texans so much because we suck. And then I go back and think about like when JJ was drafted and how stupid people were. They were like, why did we draft this motherfucker? We wanted Blaine Gabbert. We wanted Nick Fairley. And I was like, what did they turn into? You know?
Exactly.
Fucking trash. Oh, but we really wanted Aldon Smith. Yeah, he was good. You know, JJ.
And I think that's my biggest thing is I always, when we draft players and people are complaining, I'm like, just remember JJ Watt.
Because, but that, you know how Caleb always asks us when we talk shit about like a potential player we're going to draft, and he would be like, and all he does is like, how would you feel about it? And I think the consensus is like, whether I like it or not, I'm going to support it. And by doing that, if it fails, it goes back onto whoever drafted that player. You know what I mean? Yeah. So at the time, it's like, okay, I'm going to support JJ. And he had a really shitty first year. He really did. Like, learning how to be a pro football player is not easy. But then he said it one day. He was like, listen, they're already kind of done with me. I'm already failing. I'm going to fail my own way. And I'm going to go fucking balls to the wall crazy. And the legend that is JJ Watt was born. So,
yeah.
Kudos to him.
Yeah, I always love seeing those videos of people booing at the draft. And I'm like, you are on camera doing this.
Dummy.
And now look at you, like, with your JJ Watt jersey. Like, and I was like, yeah, I think just, like, if one thing he does represent for us is just humble yourself. Like, we don't know what anybody's going to be when it comes to NFL, especially this coming draft. And this seems like one of those drafts again where a lot of speculation, and we'll get to that on Bayou City Boys for sure. But
JJ Watt is so dope in my opinion because there's so many people like Travis Johnson who played D tackle for the Texans for a while. He come on and he's like, no, it's a good team. It's got good leadership. The problem is when you're constantly changing over and then you're put in a position that you're not able to succeed in, meaning like, I'm a 4-3 D lineman, and then you bring guys in that want to run a 3-4. It pushes me out of my natural position, and then they blame shit like that players do for not succeeding in the league or living up to their potential. But you never hear JJ Watt say that. He's like, put the fucking ball on the ground and let me put my fist in the ground and let's work. And every time he did. So, I mean, he just never I just don't understand why people hate on that dude, bro. I really don't.
Yeah, no, I don't get it either. Like, I feel like majority of the city has nothing but love for him now. Everybody's next thing is, are you retiring a Texan? Which more than likely,
sign a one-day retire. There's a fucking reason nobody's wore 99 since you left. There's a reason nobody will wear 99. You're going into the hall with the bull on your jersey. You're a Texan for life, bro. You're the best one we ever had. That fucking thank you, bro. My favorite player on the Texans ever.
Yeah, no, the highlights there's so many of them. The outside of football, the charities and the organizations he's done, outside of just the Harvey stuff, like he really was like a part of your community at some point. And
he's such a good guy that you don't even feel bad for the bad shit he did. Like he fucking ruined Alex Smith's career.
Yeah.
You don't blame him for it though.
Yeah, you're like, dang,
Alex, sorry, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's something. I mean, he's one of those people for sure that now that he's, 33, wish you the best, man, being a father, the next chapter of your life. He's one person.
Just don't leave Houston, JJ. Come live back in Pearland where you probably live and just do shit. Look, when Cal goes out there and makes hot dogs and hamburgers, just be out there and then we'll show up.
Yeah, you can literally do what Andre Johnson's doing right now. Just enjoy yourself. Enjoy it. I mean, you're going to be loved by the fan base every single time you do anything here. And, I mean, that was one of the players, I think, when he left, it was like, go get you a ring. Like, that's one player we were hoping would get something. I mean,
it's his own fault he didn't, though. He should have went to Buffalo. He should have took his dumb ass to Buffalo, and he might have got a ring. Other than that, he didn't do anything wrong, but that's neither here nor there. But I do think that you're right. Do an Andre Johnson role, come back to Houston. There's a strong possibility we're about to draft a crap ton of D linemen because we really need them. But we also have good young guys on our team. Like, go help them. You're obviously good because look at what your brother does. You obviously have a way about yourself of teaching.
I feel like for him, he's going to be in that Andre Johnson, Akeem Olajuwon role for sure, where it's like be at the game, helping out, guiding. I mean, who knows? You may at some point see him or Andre get a job at some point of whatever they make up. I mean, those are two people that forever at this organization will be loved.
Yep.
And JJ is just that guy. Like
it's like seeing JJ in a Cardinals jersey, which is surprisingly he has a really good year going this year. It's like watching Olajuwon in a Toronto jersey. It's like that didn't happen. Yeah, I don't give a fuck what you say. That did not happen. It was just killing time. He just collected another paycheck that we weren't going to give him, but it didn't count.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm like,
yeah. Andre and fucking Colts in Tennessee. It's like that didn't happen. He's just trying to get that last paycheck.
But man, thank you, JJ.
Thank you, JJ.
Wish you the best, man. Life. I know that there's a lot of fans out there that have mad love for you, man. And you're
I
always
got like
welcome
6 year jerseys and none of them are signed. So the first chance we get, I'd like to come out and get one signed.
Yeah, you're invited to every cookout we do, eh?
Yeah, for sure. We get you some Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. We got a 99 pack.
Shit, y'all made it to this point and y'all want any Houston Texans news, make sure you check out Bayou City Boys every week. We give you all Astros, Rockets, Texans stuff. You can always check out our Facebook with all breaking news. We got you. That being said, man, make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll be out with the next video soon. Later.
How much I'm working for this? I swear my dreams are too important.